Have you ever walked down a street following the aroma of fresh food, only to be hit with a smell so bad you had to turn around and leave? Believe it or not, some of the world's most famous delicacies are also the most pungent foods you'll ever come across. In today's video, we're exploring the world's stinkiest foods, dishes that smell so strong they send tourists running for the hills, while locals absolutely love them. Ready to dive into these bizarre, nose-wrinkling delicacies? From fish that's been buried underground for months to a fruit that's banned in hotels, these foods will challenge even the bravest foodie's nose. But why do they smell so bad? And more importantly, what do they actually taste like? Keep watching to find out if you dare to take a bite. We're starting our journey in Iceland, home to one of the most infamous dishes in the world, hakarl, or fermented shark. The recipe dates back to the Vikings, who needed to find a way to make the toxic Greenland shark safe to eat. Their solution? Bury the shark underground for months to ferment, then hang it out to dry for several more months. The result is a meat that's safe to eat, but its smell is something else. The intense ammonia odor has been compared to cleaning products or rotting fish, making it one of the hardest foods for tourists to stomach. Many tourists describe the smell as unbearable, but Icelanders love it, often pairing it with a shot of brennivine, a strong local liquor known as Black Death. So what does it taste like? Surprisingly, the flavor is much milder than the smell, slightly fishy, chewy, with a hint of saltiness. It's the ultimate test for any daring foodie. While most tourists barely make it past the smell, those who do say it's an experience unlike any other. So, would you try fermented shark on your next trip to Iceland? Next up, we're heading to Sweden, where one dish has earned a reputation for its overpowering smell: surströmming, or fermented herring. This Swedish delicacy is made by fermenting Baltic herring for months, creating a dish so pungent it's been described as one of the world's smelliest foods. The smell is so strong that many Swedes eat surströmming outside, and it's often banned on airplanes and in public buildings. The stench, a mix of rotting fish and old garbage, it's a smell that lingers in the air, making tourists run for the nearest exit. But here's the surprise: once you get past the smell, surströmming has a tangy, salty flavor that some people describe as delicious. It's typically eaten with flatbread, onions, and potatoes, creating a meal that's all about balance. So why does it smell so bad? The fermentation process produces sulfuric compounds, which release that notorious stench. It's a true test of bravery, but for those who can handle it, surströmming is a beloved part of Swedish culinary culture. Would you dare try it? Next, we're off to Taiwan, where the streets are filled with the unmistakable aroma of stinky tofu. This popular street food has a smell so strong, you can catch a whiff of it from blocks away. Described as a mix between rotting garbage and sewage, stinky tofu isn't for the faint of heart. Despite the powerful smell, stinky tofu is beloved across Taiwan and much of East Asia. The tofu is fermented in a brine made from vegetables, milk, and meat, which gives it that signature funk. The longer the fermentation, the stronger the smell. But here's the twist: the taste is surprisingly mild. Once it's deep fried to crispy perfection, the tofu has a creamy, almost cheesy texture. It's served with spicy chili sauce and pickled cabbage to balance out the flavors, making it a must-try for adventurous foodies. Love it or hate it, stinky tofu is one of those foods you'll never forget. The smell might be enough to send tourists running, but for locals, it's a comforting reminder of home. Our next stop takes us to China, where one of the most visually shocking and strongly scented dishes is the century egg, also known as the 100-year egg or 1,000-year egg. The process behind making a century egg is as old as it is fascinating. Despite what the name suggests, century eggs aren't actually 100 years old. They're preserved for weeks to months, traditionally in a mixture of clay, ash, and salt. During this time, chemical reactions work their magic, turning the egg yolk into a creamy, dark green center with a rich, pungent flavor. The egg white turns into a translucent brown jelly, with a flavor often described as bold and salty. And the smell? It's intense, with a strong ammonia-like scent that hits you before you even take a bite. But don't be fooled by the smell. Once you get past the pungent odor, the flavor is rich, creamy, and savory, with a smooth texture that many compare to a soft cheese. It might look strange and smell even stranger, but for millions of people across Asia, the century egg is a delicacy, often eaten with rice porridge or served as an appetizer with soy sauce and ginger, offering a truly unique taste experience. It's a staple in Chinese cuisine, with a long history dating back over 600 years. Curious about what's next? Imagine walking through a tropical forest and you stumble upon a fruit that smells like dirty gym socks or overripe cheese. That's right, the stinking tofu fruit, also known as jatoba in Brazil, got its unflattering name from its strong odor that hits you the moment you crack it open. So what exactly is this smelly fruit? Stinking toe, or Hymenaea curberule, grows in tropical regions of the Caribbean, Central, and South America. The fruit's hard outer shell looks like a giant toe, hence the name. But what's inside is even stranger. The flesh is dry, almost like powder. And while the smell might throw you off, the taste is surprisingly sweet, similar to vanilla or brown sugar. The next time you're in the Caribbean or South America, don't be afraid to give stinking tofu fruit a try. After all, it's not every day you get to say you ate a fruit that smells like a gym locker, but tastes like a dessert. Japan might be famous for its sushi and ramen, but one dish that divides even the locals is natto, fermented soybeans that are as sticky as they are stinky. Natto is a popular breakfast food in Japan, but its pungent aroma and slimy texture make it a challenge for many tourists. So what's the deal with natto? These soybeans are fermented with a special bacteria called Bacillus subtilis, which gives them their signature smell, a mix of rotten cheese and old socks. But that's not all. Natto is also incredibly sticky, with long, stringy threads that stretch between the beans as you pick them up with chopsticks. The texture can be off-putting to first-timers, but for many Japanese people, natto is a nutritional powerhouse. It's packed with protein, vitamins, and probiotics that are great for digestion. Traditionally, it's mixed with soy sauce, mustard, and sometimes green onions, and served over rice for a simple but filling breakfast. Natto has been a part of Japanese cuisine for centuries, and while it's an acquired taste for many, those who love it say it's a comfort food that reminds them of home. Despite the strong smell, many people swear by it for a nutritious start to the day. And now we arrive at the grand finale. Durian, often referred to as the king of fruits, but also notorious for being banned in hotels and public spaces across Southeast Asia, due to its intense smell. The durian scent has been described as a mix of rotting onions, gym socks, and raw sewage, powerful enough to make tourists gag at the first whiff. But while tourists run from the smell, locals flock to durian stalls for its creamy, custard-like texture and rich flavor. The taste of durian is sweet, with a hint of bitterness, and those who love it say it's like eating a luxurious, tropical dessert. Durian is one of those foods that people either love or hate. There's no in-between. It's a true test of your adventurous palate. The strong, pungent smell might send you running, but if you can get past that, you might discover why durian is known as the king of fruits. Durian plays a special role in Southeast Asian culture, with many considering it a delicacy to be savored. From street vendors to high-end desserts, durian is celebrated for its unique flavor. Would you give this polarizing fruit a try? So there you have it, the world's smelliest foods that are famous for sending tourists running, but loved by locals. From fermented fish to fruit that's banned in public places, these dishes are a true test of bravery. But for those who dare to try them, the flavors might just surprise you. Which of these foods would you be brave enough to try? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this adventure into the world of stinky delicacies, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our future foodie challenges. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.